Hi. I hope you had a good weekend or are having a good weekend whenever you view this. Anyways, on the topic of my paper 2 final draft. Um Overall, the draft to me was not or the project itself to me was not like difficult to understand, but it's just that I had never written a paper on something like analyzing the conversation rather of a subject rather than the subject itself. I had never done that before, so to me, grasping that concept in my head was kind of difficult at first for some reason. Um, but overall, I'm pretty proud of my paper. Um, I feel okay about it pretty much. It's I don't feel like it was like my best work or amazing or anything. I only included about two quotations per paragraphs, and my paragraphs are pretty long, which normally I use a lot of words when I'm writing and stuff. So normally they are pretty long, and my papers are pretty long just because I use so much excessive wording. But they were really long, abnormally long even for myself this time. But yeah, I used about two quotations in each body paragraph, which I felt okay about. Usually I try and do more than the minimum, and two quotations per paragraph was the minimum for this assignment based on the rubric. So that was a little weird for me. Um, but I really just, in the end, wanted to focus on the analysis of the comments and the comment sections and the conversation that was being held in the comment sections rather than just one single quotation. So when I stated the quotation, I would talk a little bit about it afterwards, and then I might place in another reply to that first comment, like in this first paragraph, body paragraph. This one is made by a user named Devin. And then I allowed a little bit of explaining, and then I commented someone's reply by another username to this previous username, Devin's comment. So, and then after that, I would have just a bunch of analysis of the conversation that was held, not only between Devin and Isabella, but just overall in the whole thread of conversation to Devin's specific comment. Sorry if that was confusing. My peer reviewer didn't offer me any commentary. I spoke and emailed with you about that, and how she hasn't really been turning in anything, which is fine. I like having more commentary and peer reviewing I like peer reviewing in itself because I feel like more confident about my work and turning it in, knowing that the first person that, or the only person that has viewed it is not just me, it's another person as well before finally turning it in for my final draft. I like having multiple opinions on it and trying to perfect it. But yeah, I emailed you because of that and emailed you about that. And you provided feedback on my paper, saying to focus on my topic sentences and bringing in the conversation into my topic sentences rather than just focusing on the example itself, which I did try and do in this sentence. A popular household product that is the spelling of its name started to be questioned. An example of the Mandela theory Dawson provides in his video is one of the popular air fresheners Febreze, causing a lot of speculation amongst users in the comment section of his video. And then my third one, moving on from Dawson's video, conversations about Disney animation movies and how they have always been popular, especially amongst children, grow in popularity. Many people growing up knowing the name Tinkerbell. The conversation amongst viewers in his YouTube video on the channel entitled Watch Mojo, blah blah blah. And then my last one is lastly, the board game entitled Monopoly is one many people have played, and the man on the front of the box holding a large bag of money is the statement picture, but people have begun to question the man's statement appearance. So I tried to revolve the topic sentence not only about the example, but about the conversation that it had started on the YouTube comment sections, like you had provided in my draft 1 of paper 2. And I also tried to paraphrase a lot of stuff instead of using a ton of quotations. I still did have about, what was it, 10 works cited? Yeah. So I did have a lot, but that was just because I used, like, you have to cite the individual comment itself. But I did try and paraphrase, like we had talked about in the previous video conference more, instead of feeling insecure about, quoting excessively and citing them wrong, in-text citations wrong. I tried to do it right. I'm not sure if I did, but I hope I did. And I decided on the quotations I used in my paper by reading through every comment section, or the comment section of the videos that I used. And I picked out the ones that provided enough detail that I could elaborate on, but not ones that went into too far detail about their own opinions, because I didn't want to get one singular opinion. I wanted to get the conversation and how people conversed with each other about a single thing that someone stated. So I didn't want to get very in-depth comments, but I wanted to get enough to elaborate on. I didn't include any images or videos in my final paper this time. I read on the rubric that it wasn't mandatory, and I guess because this was a more abnormal paper topic for me, the last paper we turned in, the first paper, was the first paper I ever wrote where I had images in it. And so I feel like I just tried to stick to what I knew with this one besides the topic, so I could try and focus all my energy in creating a good paper about this. And the aspect of the paper that I left room for most improvement was probably focusing on more on the quotations that I was providing. I looked through many different comments on the videos, Shane Dawson's video, Watch Mojo video, and the Teens React video. And with the Teens React video, I actually quoted someone that was in the video, because in the Teens React, I hope this is okay, but in the Teens React, they kind of have a different point of views looking at the same thing and different reactions, and I really liked this one girl's reaction, and then I tried my best to show the kind of reaction. All the teens had very similar reactions, but I tried to reflect that onto a comment to the best I could. And I think the lack of commentary from the Fine brothers behind the camera, or the film, whoever was filming it, also said a lot and allowed the viewer to have, it left the viewer to make up their own opinion. Where did I write that? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Monopoly, sitting back, pointing his face. Oh. She looks at the people behind the screen for some sort of validation or input on whether or not she is with people who hold the same beliefs as her. Though we do not hear their own opinions in response to Michaela, their silence allows the viewer to sit and wonder along the shocked girl. Every person who views the image of the Monopoly Man believes him to have a monocle, having an impact on the viewer's opinion. With so many people agreeing on the same image, it has to be true, right? So I think the silence spoke louder than words would have with that, allowing the viewer to form their own opinion and still have that impact from Michaela's shocked reaction and every other teen's reaction, providing some kind of input to their own opinion. And again, this paper, I felt sort of insecure on my writing abilities because I think I originally went in at it in the wrong way. Especially with my rough draft, I kind of focused less on the conversation, more on the examples themselves, elaborating on the examples rather than the conversations that were being started because of them in the informal comment sections of YouTube videos. And I think it was difficult for me at first because I have never made a conversation about that were held because of the subject, rather only making papers about the subject itself, like I stated previously in the beginning of this video analysis. And I tried to improve on my paraphrasing after discussing it with you the best that I could. I hope I did fine. I tried going through and looking at all my grammar, and making sure that it was good, and I also tried to give as much input and, I tried to analyze the conversation to the best of my ability. And I hope I did good. I actually really enjoyed it at the end. Reading over it, I read it over several different times, making sure it was fine, and I actually did, kind of looking in deeper into something that I never really looked at previously. You look at comments, but you never actually realize the impact and, kind of bandwagon sometimes effect that has in conversations in anonymous public forums like a YouTube comment section. So, yeah. Thank you.